Beneath the shimmering night sky, the soft glow of lanterns hanging over the square signaled a clandestine gathering. The leaders of the major factions locked eyes, their expressions heavy with deep-seated concerns. Outside the fray, the Shadow Boss had commanded that the gates to the secret realm be tightly sealed, while the Divine Being dispatched their mightiest warriors to thwart any intruders. Every realm you ventured into was reduced to ash. The fate of the world now hung in the balance. Would you shatter the old order or forge a new one? It was the very external challenges that awakened a dormant power within you. Yet at the Academy for Extraordinary Abilities, you were deemed a failure. For 3 long years, you remained without awakening any powers, lost in the depths of gaming. This left your childhood friend, the school's beauty, disheartened. Unable to bear it any longer, she resolved to gift you a love tap to the head, hoping to jolt you into realization. You must understand that she awakened her 5-star profession at merely 16 as the sole heir to the Wang Corporation. She was heralded as a once-a-millennium genius. Meanwhile, you were just an orphan with no connections. Despite the vast disparity in your statuses, it had never driven a wedge between your friendship. Today marked the annual awakening ceremony for extraordinary abilities. Typically, everyone hopes to awaken as a daring adventurer by the age of 16, yearning for the honor of achieving a miraculous transformation. Yet, you had long since lost hope this was your 3rd attempt. As your classmates spotted you, they began to murmur excitedly, dubbing you the legendary figure. Yet, only the beautiful teacher regarded you with kindness, advising you to brush off the rumors. As your hand rested on the awakening device, it instantly burst forth with brilliant light. The colors suggested a magical system, and now it was time to see how many stars you would receive. The teacher's expression turned regretful as she saw just 1 star, while your classmates erupted in laughter, convinced you'd finally turn your fortunes around. The outcome was merely 1 star. It was utterly absurd. "Hurry up and get down. Don't linger there and embarrass yourself," they jeered. "Just trash is just trash. Don't think you can shine." The teacher called out to you several times, but noticing your lack of reaction, her worry grew. After all this effort to awaken, only receiving 1 star, who could bear such a fate? Then she handed you a set of starting gear. The reason you were momentarily stunned was that a voice echoed in your mind. "Subject has completed the awakening, meeting conditions to activate the system. The system has successfully activated, granting the subject a passive ability, Shadow Origin. The mysterious gift, Shadow Origin, protects you from the adverse effects of dark powers. When casting spells, all costs are waived. This enigmatic boon allows you to wield spells without expending energy once a week. Within your consciousness, dark power is perceived as the most malevolent force in existence, while spells are the domain of the divine. What do these have to do with you?" The mere mention of darkness and spells felt ominous. Next was the real combat challenge. One could only wonder what mischief might await. Everyone hurried to the challenge realm, where your drawing skill, known as White Erasure Black, could summon the dark powers of a world, creating a protective layer capable of crushing any nearby foes. Yet, you felt an unsettling unease. Hearing the name White Erasure Black, you felt as if you were harnessing forbidden sorcery. If discovered, your fate would be sealed. As you entered, you hoped for an explanation from the system, but it remained silent. Once your classmates stepped in, they were confronted by a 2-dimensional green creature. Goblin. Meanwhile, you stayed hidden, observing the chaos unfold. It wasn't your choice to remain still. The sky was filled with surveillance drones, rendering your spellcasting impossible. The examiner soon noticed your suspicious behavior. While others were slaying monsters and leveling up, you stood there like a statue. The homeroom teacher remarked on your late awakening and frail physique. It was unfortunate that the only skill you activated was a defensive spell. The examiner, Van Gogh, instantly resolved to end your test, thinking someone like you could never become a true adventurer. But in the very next moment, his eyes widened in disbelief. A wave of power surged through the challenge realm, far surpassing the average. There lay a boy, flattened against the ground. He couldn't believe that such a powerful creature had appeared in the challenge realm. Before him stood a goblin in a cloak, rallying the spirits of other goblins, urging them to unite against their unjust fate. This scene was perfectly captured by a drone, only to have the leading goblin knock it down right above you. Instantly, you transformed into Newton. Indeed, it was the perfect moment to test your spell's strength. While the goblins reveled in their discovery of prey, it remained unclear who the real quarry was. You raised your hand, channeling the dark power, with purple magic coalescing in your right hand. The spell Earth Drawing was activated, causing numerous fissures to erupt from the ground. In those eyes sparkled otherworldly flames. The monitoring room descended into chaos as all drones lost connection. Given the intensity of the dark power, they had reason to suspect that a formidable creature beyond the average, Wong Cat, had appeared. Teacher Vang On was left in shock. A creature like Wong Cat could easily lay waste to an entire city. So why was it manifesting in the examination room? When the spell activated, a protective barrier formed around you. As you gazed at the purple magical energy radiating from you, it felt sticky and somewhat repulsive. Nearby, a goblin was swiftly vanquished. Experience poured in like a torrential downpour. The goblin, witnessing its fate, trembled in terror. "You're not human, are you? How can you wield such dark power?" It soon realized that it could no longer move. Fear gripped its heart as it cried out, "Stay away." At last, your mission was accomplished, rewarding you with 6,000 gold. Your level shot up to 10, igniting a thrill within you. According to previous year's records, one could typically level up only twice, and most of this was thanks to the cloaked goblin. Other minor monsters felt like mere drizzles in comparison. But what of the elite goblins? Where could they be hiding? Yet something felt off. Elite goblins shouldn't appear in the examination room. Just then, a flurry of items rained down before your eyes, and to your delight, 2 of them gleamed with orange quality. Among them was a permanent medal, a rare sight indeed. Another item was a weapon that required level 20 to equip. While you couldn't use it just yet, it could fetch a handsome price. With the current trend, easily surpassing the level cap in solo battles was entirely within your reach. It was time to take flight. Just then, an urgent evacuation announcement blared through the chaos. You were confused by the abruptness of it all. Just moments ago, the atmosphere was vibrant. Now it lay in ruins. Everywhere you looked, great pits marred the ground, emanating a sinister purple energy. To avoid suspicion, you immediately complied with the announcement, unfurling the evacuation scroll and making your swift escape. Just as you stepped outside, the examiner commanded everyone not to stop and to return to the city at once. After all, the Monster King wasn't something they could confront. Now all they could do was hope for timely reinforcements. But mere moments later, he was left in shock as the testing center reported the sudden disappearance of the dark power. He wondered if the Monster King had infiltrated the ranks of the candidates. The homeroom teacher sensed that the situation had spiraled beyond their control. The only option left was to notify others discreetly to prevent unnecessary panic. Meanwhile, you maintained a facade of detachment, greeting the homeroom teacher. Seeing you unperturbed, the teacher urged you to leave quickly, mentioning that the school was temporarily closed and advising you not to come unless necessary. You were utterly baffled, as the teacher and others seemed to be confronting an unseen enemy. Class Beauty assumed you were upset over the interrupted exam. She promised to take you monster hunting to level up tomorrow. You quickly waved your hands in refusal. "Are you kidding? I can only use black wipe. I can't waste it in front of others." But the Class Beauty was adamant, refusing to let you decline. "Tomorrow at 8, we'll meet at the school's small forest." You were astonished at how domineering Miss Wong could be, an absolute tyrant. How would you coexist with her in the future? Surely, she'd hold your fate in her hands, plunging your life into darkness. Yet, not going was not an option either. Thus, a spark of possibility ignited in your mind. You made your way to a bustling marketplace, where surely you would find what you sought. After all, there were some gear pieces accompanied by skills. Just acquiring one could serve as a clever disguise. The only hope you clung to was that the system wouldn't render it void anymore. Just when you could sell the equipment you had painstakingly gathered, a captivating girl greeted you. You expressed your intent to purchase a piece of gear that bore the skill Purify Black. Be it a weapon, attire, or any object, she seemed momentarily intrigued. However, upon realizing it was low-tire equipment, her enthusiasm dwindled to nearly half. Yet she didn't give up, trying to introduce you to some high-tire gear instead. You hurriedly declined, igniting a spark of irritation within her. With a huff, she turned away, leaving you to be attended by another newcomer. Someone like you, a wretched soul unworthy of her service. Soon after, a fresh and beautiful girl approached, swiftly leading you to the weaponry section, where you could experiment to your heart's content. Ultimately, you settled on a ring and mentioned that you wanted to sell a few items. The girl guided you to a valuation room. The first item you presented was a weapon adorned with orange claws, and the appraiser, a plump middle-aged man, was introduced as Master Wang. Despite his unrefined appearance, his skills were unmatched. He inquired about your selling price, and as a novice, you stammered, saying the higher the better. Master Wang chuckled, instructing the girl to take care of you while he made a phone call. He was contacting a few clients in need of gear for newcomers like you. As you sipped the tea prepared by the girl, Master Wang returned shortly. He informed you that the item could be sold for 50,000 gold pieces, but with an 8 service fee deducted. In the end, you walked away with 46,000 gold. You never expected to sell for such a price, your words tumbling out in a flurry of disbelief. After regaining your composure, you expressed a desire to purchase more gear. Master Wang confidently assured you of his commitment to satisfy your needs, personally guiding you in your selection. At that moment, the alluring girl observed your jovial exchange with Master Wang. Her colleague beside her remarked on your recent sale of a piece for 50,000 gold, and her expression darkened instantly. It was worth noting that she had just publicly dismissed you as a lowly wretch, unworthy of her attention. Like a bolt from the blue, it struck him the bountiful rewards had slipped through his fingers like shadows. In truth, he had been the one to push them away. With tasks completed, it was time to prepare for the return home. The girl bid him farewell, gently introducing herself as Yang Tan, assuring him to find her next time should he need anything. Once home, he immediately sought a place to test his new gear. It truly did not disappoint now. He no longer feared being exposed the following day. The next morning, he stepped out with a cold demeanor, wearing an air of provocation. From afar, he greeted Miss Vung. At that moment, Vung Wit's teammates arrived, consisting of 3 males and 1 female, a wild warrior wielding an enormous axe and a priest. These 2 were quite friendly towards him. However, the other 2 were not as courteous. Their expressions made it seem as if they had just bitten into something foul. He shot a scornful glance at one of them, who in a sycophantic tone asked, "Yo Ni, I remember you're about to reincarnate, right?" Hearing this, he was taken aback, not because he recognized that name, but because reincarnation was a significant turning point. Vungwit was indeed a genius, starting with a 5-star rating. Next, that guy brought out a green potion, a high-level agility-enhancing elixir. This potion permanently boosts agility by 3 points, and it was clear it was quite expensive. The guy immediately began boasting. After all, it's only about 20 to 30,000 gold, nothing to worry about. I don't even consider this month as anything. The key is that this potion is hard to get. I had to leverage several layers of connections through my dad to acquire it. Vungwit firmly rejected him. After speaking, she turned her back on him. The other guy, taken aback by the rejection, stood there laughing, but soon grew furious. Wait a minute, are you really going to waste your time on a worthless fool like this? Jangwit's eyes sparkled as she gazed at him. Watch your words, he said. What's wrong with that? A worthless fool like you still has hope. He thought this guy was truly insane and just wanted to ignore him. The atmosphere became tense. Miss Tu immediately stepped in to mediate, but Jangwit had no need for it. Get out of the way. This is none of your business. With that, he continued to mock him. He first twisted his ears and then said calmly, "Are you a mad dog?" Biting indiscriminately, bragging over just a mere potion that boosts stats by 3 points. Hearing this, Jangwit's anger flared, her eyes blazing. What are you saying? You broke fool. Do you want to die? Is there anything better than that to show off? If you do, bring it out so we can broaden our horizons. Otherwise, you'll have to kneel and call me father. Little did he know, he was already raising an ungrateful child before even tying the knot. He immediately pulled out a permanent orange badge. Vungwit, this is a gift for you. The badge of the Vanguard, a permanent item that boosts attributes. Vungwit froze, questioning where he had acquired such a thing, realizing it had never before appeared. Are you joking? How could there be a permanent item? He, brimming with confidence, replied, Is it real? Try it and see. Vungwit felt this was far too precious. He deceived her, claiming he found it at home and intended to gift it to her. Two warriors urged her to use it, eager to witness the outcome. Accompanied by a burst of golden light, everyone watched intently. Soon after, Vungwit excitedly exclaimed, It really boosted my attributes. The two others immediately sensed something was off. They quickly turned to smear his reputation. Impossible. How could he possess such a treasure? He must have stolen it. It seemed his mind was not right. Not only was the origin questionable, but the wager also raised doubts about whether this badge was truly real. At that moment, he scratched his ear. Remember to bow your head hard. I'm a bit hard of hearing. Jangwit immediately wanted to break his promise. How can I kneel before someone as worthless as you? Vungwit stepped in to defend him. Was the intention of Ching-Thiu to betray? Two frenzied warriors looked at him with disdain. Under everyone's scrutiny, Jangwit grit his teeth and finally knelt down. All right, fine. He coldly looked down before shoving Vungwit's head away and turning to leave. Everyone said their goodbyes. Vungwit was taken aback by Jangwit's response and hurriedly apologized to him. He told her to stop talking. What do we have between us? There's no need for this. In reality, he didn't want Vungwit to accompany him. He wanted her to complete her third reincarnation and get into the best university. Vungwit misunderstood his intentions and encouraged him not to be so insecure. He found it utterly absurd. Sister, with you around, I can't train properly. Just then, Vungwit unexpectedly pulled out a book and handed it to him. It was 2 purple skill books. Just looking at them, he could tell they were quite valuable. In Vungwit's eyes, these were far inferior to the permanent badge he had gifted her. Without hesitation, he accepted the gift from the beautiful girl. They then made their way toward the treacherous edge of the graveyard. Vungwit transformed into a stunning female warrior while he sat behind, gathering experience. His face showed a hint of displeasure, as the experience here was too low, but he couldn't tell her that he had lost a lot. He had to persevere. These minor monsters posed no threat to Vungwit. A single keystroke sufficed. Just then, her phone rang. Vungwit had to pause to answer the call. Hello, Yoni, just received news that the boss of the magic leader is about to appear. This is a rare opportunity. Do you want to come? Jangwit seemed to have forgotten everything that had just transpired. He must come. If he doesn't show up, how can we defeat the boss of the magic leader? The rare mage items will drop, and that's crucial for me. Vungwit didn't respond. Instead, she turned to look at him. He urged her to hurry. Anyway, I'll be heading to the leveling area shortly. It won't affect anything. After pondering for a moment, Vungwit decided to go, but told him to wait in the safe zone. He excitedly gave her an okay sign. Vungwit immediately darted away like an arrow, while he muttered to himself, Take your time. If you have some, drop by and play. Once Vungwit was far away, his expression shifted dramatically. So, it's just me and the boss now. Today is the perfect moment. Luckily, he had learned 2 new skills yesterday, and the best part is they can be used for free, once each. Skills are never superfluous, the more, the better. However, due to level restrictions, he could only learn 3 skills. The badge Vungwit gifted him required reaching level 15 to unlock. Skills are unlocked every 5 levels. Besides him and Vungwit, there are other teams eyeing the boss too, but they would surely just be a band of desperate attackers. At this moment, Wang Yu's team had begun their merciless slaughter. The guide remained arrogant as ever, scoffing that the boss was his, and those other teams were nothing but trash, unworthy of competition. The girl with purple hair quickly realized Wang Yu had grown more powerful. Meanwhile, inside the secret realm, everything felt eerily empty. Suddenly, a purple whirlwind appeared in the sky. In the blink of an eye, he materialized here. Truly, it was a spatial spell, allowing him to arrive in an instant. Under the influence of the system, the bizarre technique morphed into the Dark God spell. The spatial rift could directly pierce through time, lasting for an hour. Just then, the ground began to slowly ooze a viscous black liquid, gradually forming a crowned head. Skeleton clad in a mage's robe, it seemed that this figure was indeed the boss. He calmly greeted, "Welcome, you're late." Without a moment's hesitation, the boss launched an attack, followed by a thunderous explosion. Instantly, he noticed that his position had been left vacant. The boss grinned triumphantly. "Doesn't the adventurer know his own limits? How dare you appear here alone?" He doubted the man's sanity, but just then the man was suddenly above the boss, responding with ease. "Because I want to claim the rewards for myself." The boss was taken aback by his reappearance. He considered it an honor for the man to witness his new skill, Heaven's Dance. The spectacle was enough to terrify the boss to the point of losing control of his bladder. What right did he have to enjoy divine favor? Ultimately, he couldn't withstand the onslaught and became nothing more than a memory. At the same time, his experience surged unceasingly. The Master of Magic was truly formidable, granting him 5,000 experience points, instantly elevating his level to 30. Next, he could proceed with reincarnation. The legacy of the Master of Magic was incredibly rich, containing pendants and precious gems he could utilize. However, the two skill books weren't specifically for mages, but still held value. Among them, one item caught his attention, a permanently orange badge. This time, he absorbed it directly. Despite its effect being a reduction in stamina, he reluctantly accepted it. At the same time, the system issued a notification, "Special item detected magic badge." Upon reincarnation, it can unlock the hidden profession Alchemical Mage. Activating the hidden profession will require fulfilling the prerequisite quests of the entire system. At that moment, his mind raced. He knew hidden professions were exceedingly rare and were innate abilities that couldn't be interfered with. Could these badges be the key to activating a hidden profession? There was no need for further discussion. True man must become a complete mage god. But little did he know that his recent attack had instilled fear in many. Wang Yu and the others also witnessed the meteor shower in the sky, a cataclysmic sight that forced them to pause. Zhang Yu remained preoccupied, still thinking of the boss. But then, he was scolded fiercely by Vung Wit. "In such a dangerous situation, do you want to kill everyone?" After that, he picked up his phone to notify someone, only to find a message waiting for him. As soon as he stepped out of the secret realm, he dashed straight to the reincarnation hall. Awaiting him there was a beautiful girl. Upon seeing him as a newcomer, she immediately began taking down his information. Realizing he was only 18 years old and had just been reincarnated, she thought to herself that his qualities were somewhat lacking. However, she kept her expression neutral and instructed him to follow her. She quickly led him to a reincarnation chamber. She told him to follow the procedure. Just then, an examiner rushed over to find her, informing her that the graveyard had been severely ravaged. Who was responsible remained unclear, but judging by the power involved, it seemed to be the work of the dark sorcerer. Her brow furrowed within 2 days. They had been threatened by the dark sorcerer twice. The woman felt the situation was quite serious and that it was time to call for the appearance of Kodun. At the same time, 2 notifications appeared before her. The first was for a level 1 undead witch, requiring entry into the hopeless ghost realm to receive the Blood Soul Crown, with a time limit of 3 days and a difficulty rating of 5 stars. Prior task for entering the Huiyendung Divine Hall was to acquire the Divine Emblem within 3 days, with a difficulty rating of 6 stars. He was surprised to see 2 choices laid before him without a second thought. He immediately chose the strongest path of the Divine Mage. Couldn't help but marvel indeed. The hidden task of 3 days was truly daunting for others, but for him, it was just a mere tactic. He bid farewell to the receptionist and departed, only to realize that they were actually villains. At that moment, the graveyard appeared as nothing more than a heap of ruins. At the entrance stood a woman, while 2 others whispered behind her. This was the first time they had seen a member of Kodun, and their attire was distinctly different from theirs. It was said that each member of Kodun was a rare hidden profession. They wielded the power of darkness to battle, specializing in undertaking special missions. To their surprise, the receptionist was a member of Kodun. The girl adjusted her hair, astonished at how the lingering dark power remained so potent that it even affected her. However, after a thorough check, she found nothing alarming and remained uncertain about the other party's intentions. The man immediately began connecting the recent unusual occurrences, questioning whether they might indicate an impending crisis. Was there a link among these incidents? The girl stated she would report to her superiors. We have previously sent someone here. Hearing this, the man felt a tremendous pressure. Even the famed Kodun found it challenging. He inquired whether it was possible to identify which monster was responsible. Was there any chance, Boar? The woman quickly grasped the meaning he was suggesting, that the culprit might be similar to them. Mutant. The threat here had surpassed the level of a king. A human body fundamentally could not control such colossal dark power. The man grew even more tense. This meant that in the city lurked a powerful monster, capable of unleashing disaster at any moment. The girl believed it was crucial to find him quickly. At that moment, you were gazing at the 4 new skill slots you had unlocked upon leveling up, contemplating whether to learn the 2 books that Vong Nguyen had gifted you before. You discovered that the protective mystic technique could merge with Earth Sketch to create a new effect. Instinctively, you activated it. Congratulations! You have learned the passive skill Hand Drawing. This skill will automatically activate when attacked, absorbing up to 100 damage from Earth Sketch. This amount was equivalent to the damage that Earth Sketch could deal. You were pleasantly surprised by such a beneficial skill. The Clean Mirror could also combine with lower-level spells to create new effects. Now you had an additional defense mechanism, one that could withstand normal attacks without even grazing your sleeve. After that, you eagerly began studying the next book. You truly anticipated the surprises it would bring you. The system then announced that the magma plant could merge with Earth Sketch to create a dynamic rain effect, which you automatically executed. This enhanced your passive skill, increasing all Earth-type spell proficiency by 20. After some time, you noticed that 4 skill slots remained empty, indicating you still needed to visit the trading hall. You hurried to the trading hall, but were unexpectedly spotted by the gold-digging girl from before. She rushed over, her face beaming with a bright smile, saying, "Mr. Nin, you've arrived again." However, just as you opened your mouth to inquire about Yang Xin, she adjusted her hair and informed you that he was attending to another client. "Let me accompany you today." Upon hearing this, your enthusiasm instantly waned. "I'll just go alone then." The woman, incensed, gritted her teeth, wondering why a man would refuse such a beauty like her. She was leagues above someone like Yang Xin in every aspect. Yet, she was undeterred and continued to pursue you. Just then, Yang Xin arrived, and you innocently asked him if he was done with his work. "I'm not busy, I just stayed to have a bite. Some colleagues were talking about you earlier. When I got here, I hurried over to apologize for interrupting your meal. I'll treat you later. All right, I'm so sorry." The 2 of you chatted pleasantly, much to the irritation of the money-hungry girl. You then pulled out 2 skill books to express your intentions. Next, you wanted to buy a few more spell skill books. In front of you, Master Wang said, "No problem," and even urged Yang Xin to treat you well. Previously, you had acquired an orange weapon, and now you had a purple skill book, which made Master Wang suspicious and prompted him to send someone to investigate. Just as you were enjoying a cold drink with Yang Xin, laughing and chatting, he suddenly declared that he had already paid the bill. You were a bit surprised. Didn't you say you would treat him? Yang Xin insisted he had a compelling reason to cover your expenses. Your curiosity piqued about this strong reason. Yang Xin flashed a bright smile and said it was a secret. After parting ways, he instructed the driver to take him straight to the second hospital. It turned out that his father was ill and needed hospitalization. Thankfully, with your assistance, the medical costs for his father were now taken care of. Just at that moment, the window shattered, blood splattering across Yang Xin's face. At the same time, a colossal portal materialized in the sky above the city, unleashing a horde of monsters, one of which leaped directly onto Yang Xin's vehicle. The driver was instantly incapacitated. Yang Xin hurriedly tumbled out, hitting the ground hard. Confusion gripped him as he wondered how monsters could appear so close to safety. Just then, a creature emerged from behind him, and at that moment, a figure stepped through the teleportation portal. In that critical instant, Yang Xin decided to fight back. After all, he was a level 34 mage. Yet, despite his explosive attack, the monster remained unscathed, flashing its razor-sharp teeth at him before launching an assault. Realizing Yang Xin was in grave danger, in that moment of peril, a strong man appeared, saving Yang Xin from certain doom. The man, seeing that Yang Xin was unharmed, urged him to find shelter quickly. Yang Xin understood that staying would only be a burden, so he raced off, seeking safety. The man was shocked by the severe decay surrounding them. Such a situation had never occurred before. These monsters were far beyond what an ordinary human could confront. He recalled the words of a bespectacled man who spoke of a terrifying beast hidden within the city, always poised to unleash catastrophe. Suddenly, a hand reached out from behind him. The man swiftly shot an arrow. "You are a mutant," he declared. "I am no mere trash. I am protected by darkness." Upon hearing this, the man's expression turned grave. "Protected? I've never heard of such a thing." Without hesitation, he swung his weapon toward him. The Lord unleashed a powerful punch, sending the man flying. In his eyes, the foe before him was at least level 3 or higher. The Lord raised a finger, dark magical energy radiating from its tip, and charged toward the man. "This is my territory. You are unworthy to be my opponent." The man quickly raised his sword to defend himself, but was brutally struck, sent flying over 800 meters, blood spraying across the ground. The Lord laughed heartily. "I have truly grown stronger. Standing on this land, the sensation of power feels limitless." Just then, the skeletal necklace around his neck emitted a sound. "Do not become complacent, you pitiful human." Hearing this, the man broke into a cold sweat, quickly regaining his composure. "Your power is granted by me. Without me, you are no different from your kind, mere insignificant insects." Through the spatial rift, he realized the one speaking was a skeleton. "Go and prove your worthiness. Transform all the people in this city into offerings for me." Hearing this, the Lord trembled, kneeling to the ground. "I obey, Master." Meanwhile, you had just stepped out of the restroom. The scene before you is nothing short of shocking. You stepped out for just a moment, but outside, it has transformed into a hellscape. Monstrous creatures rampage everywhere, and as you emerge, one of the beasts instantly locks onto you, charging forward. Suddenly, the ground beneath you begins to crack open. The monster pierced through is the very weapon you purchased earlier during the day. It proves its worth, combining with your dazzling purple skills, allowing you to harness the power of your breath of magic. You dash past a nearby eatery, discovering a monster dragging a bloodied man, gasping for breath. The monster retreats, but underneath its grotesque exterior lies the Lord. He stares at you with a cunning grin, as if still harboring a tiny lingering worm of malice. Without a moment's hesitation, he lunges at you, catching you off guard. What in the world is this? You have no intention of surrendering to let him seize you. The Lord, surprised at how easily he could grab you, reveals a cruel smile. Yet, in an instant, his expression shifts dramatically. A layer of protective purple mist envelops your body, thwarting his every attempt to penetrate your defenses. He gazes at you in utter disbelief, unable to comprehend how you achieved this. Meanwhile, the dark power radiating from you engulfs him in despair, a feeling stronger than a million deaths. Not only that, but he also senses a terrifying scent emanating from you, one even worse than death itself. You realize this foe is not trivial. Is he planning to unleash his power within the city? Just then, your eyes, which had been shut, snap open. The Lord's hand is suddenly torn apart, leaving behind only a gaunt arm. He gasps in horror, calling out, "Leader, leader!" What drives him to despair is that his leader is still toying with him. "I called for the user who is currently unavailable. Handle it yourself," he taunts. Meanwhile, all the monsters receive an urgent retreat command. In the blink of an eye, all the power within the Lord dissipates. You look down at him with satisfaction. Mutants are those who possess hidden professions during their awakening process, allowing them to wield dark powers. Their strength far surpasses that of ordinary professions. Moreover, if they lose the protection of their dark power, they revert to being ordinary humans. Seeing his dark power wane, you let out a sigh of relief. Once again, you activate the cliff, freezing the Lord midair. This opponent appears troublesome, so you decide to gather some loot from the ground first. Taking advantage of the chaos, you swiftly make your escape. Meanwhile, the solitary girl realizes that the dark power has vanished, and even the invasion of the secret realm is no more. This sudden appearance and disappearance leaves her bewildered, unable to grasp what the enemy truly intends to do. The girl inquires about the situation elsewhere. Reports indicate that only the team in the southern part of the city has suffered severe losses. She recalls the area that Captain Zhu is responsible for in Chengnan. He wishes to head there immediately to assess the situation. At that moment, in front of the protected individuals, a man in a blue robe is squatting down. He realized that everything on the one being protected had been stripped away. Clearly, he was a demon lord capable of effortlessly obliterating a city, yet now he stood sweating profusely under the gaze of a seemingly useless individual. Moreover, he had commanded his subordinates to seal the secret realm from within, driven by the instinctual fear he sensed radiating from this person, a presence far more terrifying than death itself. After you eliminate the one being protected, you must swiftly exit the scene. Before long, a man clad in blue appeared. Just as he was about to conduct a thorough inspection, another group arrived. They first warned him to remain still before demanding to know his identity. The man reassured them not to worry, then produced an identification card from the illusionary organization. The card bore a large character for Cloud. As far as the girl knew, the illusionary organization was an unofficial faction for warriors operating under a veil of secrecy. But what was he doing here? The man locked eyes with the one being protected and declared that this individual had once been a member of their organization, but had been expelled for aiding the invasion from the secret realm, guiding the monsters to attack their base. It nearly wiped out the entire team. The girl speculated that perhaps he had perished, which is why the secret invasion had come to a halt. The man questioned whether they had truly slain him. The girl was about to inquire if it was he who had struck first, but the man interjected, stating that the one being protected was cunning, often hiding within the shadows of secrecy. He had sought him out numerous times, only to have him slip away each time. Captain Chu, with his formidable third-stage powers, found himself unable to prevent the total annihilation of his troops. It was unfathomable that such a powerful figure existed in this world. As he watched the man turn and depart, doubt clouded his mind. The girl asked him where he was going to find items. At that moment, you were back home, exhilarated after acquiring some spoils. Among them were 2 sets of orange warrior attire, 1 suit requiring a weight of 120 pounds, and 1 pair of pants also demanding 120 pounds. Indeed, obtaining these items was worth far more than defeating the boss. Earlier, he hadn't worn them, likely due to insufficient level. Otherwise, you could only have used a spell to equip him. What captured your attention most was a peculiar pendant that seemed strange, lacking any information regarding its quality or location. You poked at it, wondering if it concealed a demon lord within. Staring intently at the pendant, your thoughts wandered. This inadvertently frightened the demon lord trapped inside. He was fortunate to have detected the threat early, despite being sealed within the secret realm. He had yet to be discovered. Your voice had already echoed into the depths of that hidden space. Could it be that a demon lord was hidden inside Manhwa? Upon hearing this, the demon lord froze in shock. He quickly severed all connections, determined to keep their location concealed. Following the demon lord's orders, the monsters became momentarily flustered. At that moment, the demon lord was pounding his chest in panic. Sweat poured down his forehead like rain. Oh my, I'm terrified. How could he sense my presence? Meanwhile, Captain Chu lay alone on the hospital bed like a lifeless corpse. The girl stood beside the bed as Captain Chu stated that it was the warrior in the blue garb who had saved them. Upon seeing this figure, the protected one immediately opened a crack in the hidden realm to escape. The girl couldn't help but feel that the strength of the man in blue was formidable. The bespectacled man adjusted his glasses. A being that even such powerful individuals couldn't capture was defeated by an enigmatic figure. The girl speculated that this mysterious powerhouse could either be a passerby or someone who had interrupted the secluded life of a great being. Regardless, this enigmatic figure surely had no records in any register. Yet, it was peculiar that on the battlefield, only traces of ordinary magic remained, with no significant findings. At this point, Captain Chu began to imagine, what if that great being lived here? Just thinking about it felt reassuring. He had a rather bold idea about last night's battlefield. Surely, there must still be some remnants of dark power lingering. After all, this was an incursion into a hidden realm, but I don't quite understand it. I'm just making guesses. What if that mysterious figure was also a variant? Didn't the two destructive spells cause no casualties at all? Could it be that mysterious figure? Though it's merely speculation, one cannot deny the possibility of being right. Yet, Captain Chu immediately dismissed his thoughts. No way, you've been overthinking it. The girl pondered to herself, have I really been overthinking? Meanwhile, you were on the verge of completing your class change mission when a blockade suddenly appeared. As they explained the reason, they were surprisingly cooperative, putting you at ease. You swiftly made your way to a hidden realm that resembled a castle. It was indeed your destination, the splendid Divine Hall. But unbeknownst to you, a man was watching your every move, and you were completely oblivious. The nearsighted man in blue had met a money-hungry girl at the trading floor a few days prior. Mr. Wang, you've arrived. Greetings. I hear you're looking to purchase a level 4 warrior outfit. The money-hungry girl immediately became dreamy-eyed. This man was tall and handsome. Most importantly, he was quite generous. If she could assist him, perhaps she would soar to great heights and transform into a phoenix. What a coincidence. I just got a call from an old client. He's preparing to sell a level 4 warrior outfit, but as of now, he only has the top and pants, not the complete set. The man in blue asked where the seller was. Mr. Wang smiled and replied, it seems he's busy today and couldn't make it. The level 4 outfit included both the top and pants, all the crucial details matched up. Although she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, the outfit that was mentioned might just be the relic left behind by the master. Could you tell me where the old client is? I'm willing to pay for the information. Mr. Wang suddenly had a thought. Just as you were preparing to make a move for the level 4 outfit, this man had appeared to inquire. It was as if everything had been pre-arranged. Mr. Wang contemplated for a moment before deciding to sell information about you. He said he would call to confirm if that person had already left. I escorted him outside. Mr. Wang, is something the matter? I asked. I had requested an investigation into the background of Nguk Feng. His parents were ordinary workers, missing for years, leaving him as an orphan now studying in the city school. At 18, he finally awakened, yet his abilities remained at the first level, nothing extraordinary. Looking at him, one would think he was powerful, but it turned out he was far from it. I had sensed something was off about him. His impoverished appearance was now glaringly obvious. Immediately, he began to ponder a troubling question. Where did all his fine possessions come from? A destitute person couldn't possibly acquire such items. That was the crux of the matter. After all, even though he was friends with the young lady from the Wang family, they hadn't offered him much help. The money-loving girl recalled the noble figure from earlier. She seemed less than pleased. Wait, could it be that Nguk Feng's outfit was stolen? Surely, it couldn't be theft. Perhaps its origins were merely unclear. Yet it appeared he had inadvertently provoked someone he shouldn't have. The money-loving girl began to envision the scene of her friend being trampled underfoot. This thought filled her with delight. She secretly rejoiced at the idea of her friend being thoroughly beaten. Day by day, he drew closer to the temple of the mysterious destruction. Meanwhile, the man in the green robe struggled to believe that this young man was the one who had thwarted the invasion of the forbidden scriptures. After all, even his master had fallen before the scriptures. As Mr. Wang had said, the relics of his master were now in your hands. If you weren't a formidable warrior, then the one backing you definitely was a powerhouse. In any case, it was wise to be cautious. It never hurts to be careful. At that moment, many people were swarming outside the forbidden scriptures. You raised your right hand and began to change your attire. The man thought he could gauge your overall strength from your gear. Yet, he was disappointed. Your new outfit was simply too ordinary, resembling that of a college student still awaiting graduation. He suspected that you might be in disguise. However, he soon delved deeper into his thoughts. At your age, a novice's attire would indeed help you blend in with the crowd. If you were intentionally hiding your true self, he worried you might slip away from him. To be safer, he decided to use a marking skill on you. This was a temporary active marking skill that would remain unnoticed by you. He resolved to employ your ordinary attire for this purpose, while you calmly navigated through the crowd. Yet, he couldn't fathom your purpose for entering this low-level forbidden scripture. Soon after, you stepped into the temple, and a powerful force rushed towards you. A monster had attacked, but its strike was halted right before you. Between you stood a protective barrier. This left the man in the green robe utterly astonished. What had he just witnessed? An impenetrable defense that couldn't be breached. Immediately, the monsters began to flee in panic, clearly trying to avoid you. The man in the green robe also realized that you were far from ordinary. Next is a fantastic statue. Fortunately, there is no one around. The person in the blue shirt is a bit excited. You are ready to face the boss alone, but why do you want to defeat these low-level monsters? Why isn't the statue moving? Then he noticed something was wrong and only saw cold sweat on the statue's head. You looked at the instructions and said, "It wasn't this person," and then left. Then you go to another place where there is a winged man in the air. Suddenly, his eyes emit two bright lights, and he flaps his wings at a speed of 320 miles to escape. If you don't fight, run, and the system will send a notification. Defeat the boss Green Angel, hidden in the temple, before reaching the first level of all the magic gods. Your smile is worthy of being in S-level mission. If it's a regular mission, it's different. Who can bear it now? Angel Luwei has already started to catch his breath. It's too scary. Too scary. This is my secret. Where else can I go? Immediately after, countless golden lightning bolts appeared in the sky. Amidst the screams of the Green Angel, you extend 5 fingers into the air, feeling as if the Tathagata is taming Sun Wukong. The dark magic quickly condenses into your hands, and you directly use the Eye of Heaven active skill to summon a massive thunderstorm to descend upon the power of the heavenly tribulation. A huge eye appeared in the sky, surrounded by golden thunder and accompanied by a huge lightning current falling on Green Way. The angel was immediately submerged. This scene was seen as contempt. The entire secret code turned into ruins. A person wearing blue clothes fell to the ground. This destructive magic he had never seen before. It really made him want to leave. He was convinced that your power far exceeded that of his master. It was a legend about an 8-turn powerhouse, but you sighed, too much experience, too much waste. All right, the badge is already in our hands. Let's go back and complete the task first. The bulletin board displays the orange sacred badge. The spiritual attribute is permanently increased by 8, and the recovery effect is permanently increased by 100 when you are ready to use the teleportation scroll to return. When a person in blue comes out, you hear it and are startled. You don't know when he came. Seeing your expression, the person is also startled. You look unhappy. I can explain. At the same time, the alarm sounded. You told him to leave here first. When you went out, a surprising sight appeared. You were a boss kneeling in front of a man, and the man is apologizing to you. I sincerely apologize. I meant no offense. I just wanted to confirm with you. After all, you look very young. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have dared to believe it. Regardless, the powerful one who offended my master back in the day paid with his life. He could only temporarily seal the secret technique, allowing the traitor to escape. All these years, that traitor has used humans as sacrifices, desperately trying to break the seal. I have been hunting him for a long time without success. Looking at the man before you, you realize he is also a 4th-tier powerhouse. If he hadn't appeared, you might not have discovered it at all. To be honest, it's still because your rank is too low. At this rate, sooner or later, you'll be exposed before the eyes of this man. He notices you suddenly go silent and can't help but swallow hard. Big brother, you won't silence me, will you? You have truly avenged my master. I am deeply grateful. If you need anything in the future, please feel free to command me. You consider for a moment this person is not of low rank, and is a lone wolf. Getting to know him might not be a bad idea, as he could be of use. Today's events must remain a secret, with no third party involved. Rest assured, I will keep this under wraps. Looking at the man, you are certain that your magic possesses tremendous dark power, leaving no room for alternatives. Moreover, you have repelled the invasion of the Forbidden Realm, saving the entire city. A humble powerhouse like this deserves respect, no matter the reason. After all, he has nowhere else to go, so staying in this city seems fitting. Just then, your phone rings. It turns out to be your homeroom teacher calling to ask where you are. You reply that you are in the outskirts, preparing to head back. You ask if there's something he needs from you. The homeroom teacher tells you to wait until you return. He just wants to understand some situations. You feel a bit strange. Why did the teacher suddenly call you for? Your older sister, feeling a bit lonely, asks what the teacher wanted. Hearing his tone, there's nothing unusual, and you are already preparing to head back. Your older sister isn't foolish. A student who has just awakened and reached level 1 in just a few days. Had it not been for the test, she might have overlooked you. The teacher said your character is very good and you study diligently. He believes you are not a bad person. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but there are some matters that need clarification. After that, the girl reported to the higher-ups via a video conference. Participants in the meeting are all bigwigs from various factions. Seeing the girl still on the line, one of the big shots asks if there's anything else. The woman ponders for a moment before saying, "Could the 2 instances of destructive magic caused by Qin Yu be due to a mutation?" As soon as she finishes speaking, the conference room falls silent. The elder at the head looks serious. "Sulan, are you also a mutant? Why would you ask such a foolish question? A mutant wielding dark power must pay a heavy price. The stronger they are, the greater the cost. Losing one's sanity consumes life itself, transforming the very essence of one's being into a monstrous entity. Even the slightest misstep can seal your fate, leaving no chance for redemption. A mutated being of such caliber as a king-level threat cannot possibly survive. Are you really a classmate? Why are you sinking deeper into this quagmire? To even consider the existence of a king-level mutant is quite absurd. If you enjoy spinning such tales, perhaps you should try your hand at screenwriting. I'm merely weighing all possibilities. Whether you choose to listen is entirely up to you." The man scoffed, dismissing the chatter around him. "Clearly, you lack the capability to investigate anything meaningful. If a king-level mutant truly exists, I'll gladly offer my head for your amusement." The old man cleared his throat twice. "I've dispatched a team already. I hope you can cooperate proactively. If necessary, the investigation team will take over all your tasks. By the way, as for your request to reinforce the isolated unit, the higher-ups have denied it." Sulan frowned. "Is this a sign of distrust towards me?" "It's not exactly distrust after all. You must endure a bit longer." Sulan felt a wave of helplessness wash over her. Just then, her assistant burst in. "There's news. The Shrine of Radiance, where Dr. Long is, has come under a destructive attack. Fortunately, there are currently no casualties." Upon hearing this, the head teacher was taken aback. The place you registered is indeed the Shrine of Radiance. Sulan found this revelation somewhat intriguing. Every site imbued with the dark power of king-level threats has its share of participants. If you claim it's unrelated, I wouldn't believe you. At that moment, Dr. Long had activated the barrier. The crowd was abuzz, speculating on the events that transpired at the Shrine of Radiance. Some claimed they were so frightened they nearly wet themselves. A soldier urged them to remain calm. The barrier has now been activated at its highest level. It will prevent any dark forces from impacting the residential area. Do you think the earlier noise was too exaggerated? The highest alert has been activated. Now, all we can do is wait until the alert is lifted before heading home." Suddenly, a hissing sound emanated from the barrier, and a monstrous creature crawled out through a rift in space. Immediately, more followed. Is this truly the realm of humanity? It seems like protective magic is failing. What are they even doing? It's irrelevant. Humanity, so feeble, only wishes to hide within their shells. At that moment, a horde of monsters emerged from the rift, and the leading creature declared, "What a pity. This type of defense cannot hold us back any longer." With that, it gestured forward. Let's give them a surprise, shall we? Ha ha ha! At the command, the throngs of monsters surged forth, gathering densely against the barrier. The protective forces felt their skin crawl, panic rippling through them. What is happening? Moments later, the army of monsters easily shattered the barrier, and the crowd screamed for help, confusion reigning among them. Why could the monsters break through the barrier so effortlessly? Just then, someone noticed something amiss. The barrier wasn't destroyed. How did they manage to enter Kor? The once calm crowd now spiraled into chaos, leading to inevitable casualties. The man in the blue cloak immediately unleashed his martial energy, surrounding himself in a protective aura. Boss, could this be yet another high-intensity invasion of a secret realm, similar to what happened to Qin Yu last night? Should we take action? Have you asked him if he has a way to deal with it? Upon hearing this, the man in the blue robe immediately began to envision possibilities. Clearly, the boss can handle this easily. Why would he need to ask me for a solution? What's going on? Is the boss testing my resolve? I get it now. I'll take care of it. Just leave it to me. You sigh in relief. With so many people around, it's not wise to take action. Let him go, that might be for the best. Just then, a massive surge of golden energy crashes to the ground. A colossal monster erupts with sinister laughter, clearly exhilarated. A nearby archer seizes the moment to stab at it. Yet, all it does is create a spark on the monster's tough hide. A guard appears behind it, swinging his sword, only to be flung away by a swipe of the monster's hand. Even the sword in his grasp is shattered to pieces. How can it not be touched? The monster bellows, utterly disappointed. I thought there would be a few strong humans among them. As the monster approaches, panic spreads through the crowd, sending them fleeing in terror. Faced with an utterly defenseless crowd, the monster raises its scythe high. You worthless trash, perish. Just as it seems victory is within reach, at the critical moment, a blade of energy intercepts the monster's attack, leaving it momentarily stunned. The monster's strike is effortlessly shattered by someone so small. This person is indeed a formidable warrior. The man in the blue robe's gaze sharpens with resolve. Even if the boss doesn't need my protection, I'm here now, and I can't let him face this alone. This is my chance to prove myself. The strength of the man in the blue robe immediately captures the monster's attention. He swiftly swings his sword, forcing the monster to dodge. In a single swift move, the monster is injured, blood spewing forth, igniting its rage. Meanwhile, the man, now exuding a deadly aura, charges straight at the monster with a speed that seems almost otherworldly. The monster feels as if it's being torn apart, letting out a series of anguished wails. The man, wielding two blades with fierce determination, strikes down, leaving everyone in awe. The monster stands utterly defenseless. Just how powerful is this boss? Surely he's a high-level hidden class. At this moment, he radiates an overwhelming presence, like a god of slaughter. He is indeed the legendary 5-star hidden class from Chapter 137, the Shadow Dancer. You watch his performance, your eyes shining with admiration. So powerful, it's a blessing he's willing to serve you. The monster leader has been slain by Du-an, yet more monsters continue to pour out from the rift. The tides have turned, and humanity is ready to counterattack. Du-an steps forward, awaiting your next command. Is there anything else you need me to do? Boss, you give him a thumbs up. No need, you're doing great. Everyone is left in astonishment. A powerful person pays tribute to you, and everyone guesses how powerful you are, or that you are the young master of a certain family. You go out with bodyguards to exercise, and then Yuan presents two shining things, which clearly fall from the monster leader. The crowd exclaimed once again, orange things, really orange things, can be exchanged for tens of thousands of gold even if you don't use them. Do you lack jewelry? I have two things. One is a skill book, and the other is a shield. But you can't use your skill book. You can give Wang Yo a shield and sell your money. Now, two soldiers are walking towards you. The two strong ones may not be able to speak. A slightly overweight middle-aged man lowered his head to thank two heroes for saving Dr. Long. This person is Mayor Gai Dongming of Longxi City. It looks a bit strange. Isn't he a local brewer? You sighed. We were originally planning to come here to work, but we didn't expect to be trapped here. In Dongming's eyes, this means why I'm here. There's no doubt in your heart that it makes him sweat profusely. Does it mean they activated the shield and caused him trouble? All of this is because of our work mistakes that have caused inconvenience to you. He quickly said, no, it's not your fault. Only you know that you did all of this. Please take the flight scroll I just bought. This is a great thing that is difficult to buy in such a small city, even for a one-time trip, making short-term travel very convenient. There have been riots everywhere recently, and I was wondering if you could stay in Longcheng for a few days. Look, our strength is really weak. You can only say sorry because your time is tight and your mission is 3 days. If you are late, you will never succeed. Kai Dongming has a misunderstanding. Do you think I am too idle? Yes, it is because we did not think carefully. Now the person with the scroll is back. Sir, this is the ultimate black card of remote trading. A small gift is okay. Looking at the ultimate black card, you stayed for 2.5 seconds. You should know that only a very small number of successful people can have this thing. Only the ultimate black card can enjoy privileges. No wonder this mayor can buy a flying scroll. You said thank you for letting Duan accept this matter, which surprised Gai Dongming very much. Then he stuttered and asked, if Dr. Long is in danger in the future, can you seek his help? As long as I have time. Upon hearing this, everyone cheered. You've agreed, Dr. Long. That means it's safe. Then, Yuan Duan conjured a plume of green smoke rising into the sky. This was the first time you felt the joy of flying. What an incredible sensation. In the job transition hall of Henvun City, everyone waited for Wang Yu to return. Alongside him was the foolish son of the Zhao family. Suddenly, Wang Yu's eyes sparkled as he spotted 2 streaks of light darting overhead. I just saw 2 people flying by. One of them seems to be Ning Feng. The Zhao family's foolish son asked, you must be mistaken, right? A scroll worth thousands of gold. How could a poor guy like Ning Feng afford that? Relenting 1,000 miles after just waking up, Wang Yuan immediately transformed into a mother hen, fiercely guarding her chick. If you dare speak ill of Ning Feng again, I will make you regret it. This left Wan feeling extremely uncomfortable. How infuriating that they always bring up such trash. What makes him better than me? The girl with purple hair quickly stepped in to mediate. Hey, let's not discuss that anymore. How's your job transition going? You two. I'm on edge here. It's a pity I couldn't pull and shrank, but getting in a rank is still pretty good. Only the lucky ones get shrank. The underling jumped in eagerly. Completing 2 job transitions at just 18 is already a top star that universities covet, and the job transition mission is a rare opportunity. The girl with purple hair turned to Wang Yu, her excitement surpassing even his own. Wang Yue didn't respond, his expression a bit tangled. Seeing this, everyone burst into laughter. Yuer's expression looked peculiar. Could it be that she pulled a crank mission or lower? Zhao Cheng immediately felt at ease. Haha, I never thought the praised genius would have a day like this. A mission with such a low rank directly affects the enhancement of attributes and skills. Yuer, don't feel too down, just try to keep up later. If it really doesn't work out, I can help you. But deep down, he thought, a crank mission is far from trivial. It's not just a 1-star, there's much more. Wang Yu felt a bit exasperated. Aren't you upset about the rank mission? I'm upset about the shrank. Everyone was taken aback. Was this genius girl a bit foolish? Why didn't she say so earlier? Because my situation seems different from others. My mission has unlocked a hidden profession never seen before. The foolish son of the Zhao family exclaimed in disbelief. You must know that when one awakens, their profession is already determined. Yuer, could you be mistaken? Is it possible that during the transition, a hidden profession was activated? Wang Yu recalled that when he transitioned, the system announced that due to the Vanguard badge, his profession had evolved. His profession transformed from an agile marksman into a pinnacle elite. The task of job transfer will also bring about corresponding changes. Wang Yu was astonished. The mission you assigned was that crucial. He recalled your confident expression back then. Did you know in advance? In reality, he had no idea whatsoever. He couldn't let the opportunity you had given him slip away. Without hesitation, he chose the field. Wang Yue recounted the entire process, and Zhao Cheng immediately shouted, "What does it mean to be elite? I've never heard of such a thing. Could it be that the job transfer system is malfunctioning? If you make the wrong choice, your entire life will be ruined." Wang Yue felt like a dog chasing a rat, meddling in matters that didn't concern him. Just looking at his recent display, it was clear he couldn't see anyone better than himself. Zhao Cheng was furious. How could someone with a 5-star profession also evolve me? Was he the only one left out? I want a friend like Ngich Feng, Zhao Cheng silently vowed. He was determined to obtain a badge like that, no matter the cost or danger involved. Immediately, he thought of someone. His friend possessed the celestial badge from the divine realm, priced at 600 million heavenly divine treasures, claiming it could enhance both power and spirit. Without hesitation, you used it. Shortly after, the system announced the task was complete, and the official job transfer began. You laughed joyfully. Not only did your attributes skyrocket, but you also gained additional passive skills. This skill was truly powerful, allowing precise control over one's strength. But how far could it go? It would be best to try it out next time. At that moment, Duan stood at the job transfer door, eyes closed in meditation. When Sulan passed by, she caught sight of him. Isn't this the fighter I met last time? Why is he with Ning Feng? Judging by his expression, it seemed he was protecting Ning Feng. According to investigations, Duan, despite his youth, had reached the level of a 4th-tier firefighter, his strength rivaling that of any other warrior. Such a person was quite rare across the nation. Moreover, the strange thing was that, as reported by the staff, he always followed Ning Feng in with an attitude of utmost respect. This student is no ordinary one. Teacher Cat, I will have to rely on you next. Don't worry, I will confirm with Ning Feng. I'm sure he won't become our enemy. Exiting the divine realm, the two chatted as they walked. You asked Duan, now do you believe? Suddenly, a voice called out, and you turned your head to look. It turned out to be the homeroom teacher. Oh, you called me earlier. Is there something up aft? Yes, there are indeed a few things I need to confirm with you. Duan looked quite flustered as he turned to leave. Sir, I'm waiting right here for you. You sensed a hint of anxiety. The astonishment of the homeroom teacher was no less than yours. You could only awkwardly smile. Ha ha, don't mind me. I was just joking. Soon after, the teacher became serious again. You've completed your job transfer, haven't you? Hearing that, you were taken aback. Instantly, a heavy silence descended. It seemed that the secret could no longer be concealed. However, this revelation came too swiftly. Yet, the homeroom teacher, who had always looked after me, was one of the few I could trust. He certainly wouldn't harm me. Indeed, this explanation was somewhat complex. Therefore, I prefer not to let too many people know. There's one matter that might seem a bit unimaginable, but I still need to confirm it. Have you been infiltrated by the powers of darkness? Do you feel any suspicion? Is it possible that the existence of your system has been exposed? You know what I mean. Recently, in this world, the secret realms have been increasingly encroaching upon reality. Many have fallen under the influence of dark powers, becoming deviants. Li Wenyan felt a wave of relief wash over him. You need not worry, I am not a deviant. Deviants are closely monitored by the government. You wouldn't want to be associated with them in any way. With that, he produced a testing stone. I hope you can cooperate. Please channel your power into this stone. It will reveal the amount of dark power within you. Your expression immediately turned awkward. The scene was also witnessed by the homeroom teacher, who began to ponder wildly. You managed an embarrassed smile. It was the first time facing something like this, and it was only natural to feel a bit anxious. You directed your power into the testing stone, and in that instant, an unexpected event left you stunned. The testing stone suddenly exploded. You were left in shock. What on earth was happening? The homeroom teacher immediately inquired, Mr. Ka, what is going on? Mr. Ka recalled Sulan's words at that moment. This is a magical mirror. It is very sensitive to dark power, which is why we use it to test for deviance. When you channel your power into it, it will start to vibrate. The more violently it shakes, the greater the amount of dark power. But who could tell him what it meant for it to explode like that? Both of them stared in astonishment at the shattered magical stone. You felt embarrassed and scratched your head. Teacher, I know it seems hard to believe that I just awakened and already changed classes, but you've known me for so long, at least trust in my character, right? The homeroom teacher fell into deep thought. Indeed, Ning Feng had lost his parents at a young age and awakened later than others. Maintaining such a positive and optimistic outlook was already commendable. Personally, I completely believe in you, but due to my responsibilities, I still must report today's incident to the higher-ups. I hope you can understand. I understand very well. You were also thinking about how the government would react upon receiving the report. After all, it wouldn't be the end of the world. If it truly comes to that, then the only option would be to leave this world behind. At that moment, Mr. Ka summoned a skill book. I have prepared a gift for you to celebrate your successful class change. Initially, you were stunned, and then you felt a wave of emotion. Thank you, Teacher Ka, for taking care of me all these years. I've prepared a gift for you. With that, he pulled out an orange piece of equipment that, upon inspection, was nothing short of extraordinary. The teacher gasped, realizing that this orange item, requiring no incantation, could save lives in critical moments. He quickly refused, exclaiming, "This is far too precious. Ha, this is a trophy from my class change mission. Please, don't be so formal." Before the teacher could respond, he turned and walked away, saying he was still waiting. Watching the two figures fade into the distance, the teacher couldn't help but wonder why someone would gift such a valuable item to another. Who exactly are you? Teacher found himself meeting Sulan, who seemed to be reporting on an unfavorable situation. A loud explosion echoed, and for the first time, Sulan witnessed the chaos. Teacher Tae couldn't even fathom what would happen if the authorities deemed the boy a threat. To your surprise, Sulan stated that this was it. Teacher Tae clearly didn't grasp her meaning. Simply put, your student might have surpassed our understanding. If he is indeed powerful, what we need to do is to strive to protect him, instead of delving deeply into his affairs and provoking his anger. I will strictly safeguard his information. This matter ends here. Teacher Tae promptly raised his hand, signaling the end of the meeting. If you lacked a proper background while being young, this was also a form of protection. Sulan felt that if you didn't wish to disclose your secrets, she might as well give up and inadvertently help you with a favor. Thinking of Duan, who was willing to be your shield, she figured that with more friends, there would be more paths to take, and who knows, they might come to your aid when necessary. When you returned home, Duan noticed your gloomy demeanor and asked directly. You informed him that Teacher Tae had announced that the higher-ups had halted the investigation into you. Duan's excitement soared even higher. Isn't that a good thing? Yet you worried about where to grind monsters and level up in the future. Each time you had to destroy a secret realm, the commotion was too great. Now that you had caught the attention of the authorities, if it continued like this, trouble was bound to come. Duan also felt at a loss for words. Truly, a big shot, even his troubles were unlike those of ordinary people. Every time a secret realm was destroyed, if he hadn't witnessed it firsthand, Duan wouldn't have believed you. Duan said it was simple, just avoid being in a secret realm that was registered by the authorities. Moreover, recently many new secret realms had appeared. Among them, some places were beyond the government's capacity and resources to manage. Of course, there were a few that had been seized by malicious forces. You saw this as a way to inquire about any news regarding those secret realms. Duan said there were currently 2 locations, and if they weren't sufficient, he could search for more. You didn't hesitate to accept his help after all. Duan's status made things much easier than your own as a mere student. Looking at the Supreme Dark card in your hand, you thought that tomorrow you could take the spoils to sell. With the software support from Jingzhou, you weren't worried about falling behind others. By the time Duan returned to the hotel, it was already late, and he contemplated whether he should go out to rent a room. Just at that moment, a man in a suit approached. It turned out to be the newly appointed mayor of Qinyu. He came to express his gratitude for your assistance during the secret realm incursion and to inquire if you planned to stay in Qinyu. Duan replied that he indeed had such intentions. Mayor Wenyun was overjoyed. He warmly welcomed powerful figures like Duan to remain. Then, he presented a special card, a certification from the authorities for high-ranking adventurers. He also mentioned that if there was anything needed, they should feel free to ask, and they would strive to fulfill those requests. Duan accepted without hesitation, which astonished the mayor. You see, According to his previous information, other cities had tried to court Duan, but were all turned down. Yet, a small place like Chinyu had succeeded. "Thank you for your kindness. I shall accept this gift," Duan said, immediately surprising the mayor. His actions clearly suggested that he was aware he might need something in the future. The mayor was utterly delighted with the presence of the illustrious Duan. Chinyu's safety was assured. How joyous everyone felt. Sulan's proposal turned out to be quite wise. Little did they know, the illustrious one was truly a friend. At this moment, you sat on the sofa with just one game left to play. Seeing that it was late, it was time for bed. But the class group chat caught your attention. Many were worried about leveling up, while you knew those people, all 16 years old, had awakened but still hadn't reached level 30. To participate in the college entrance exam, one needed to be at least level 1. Meanwhile, you had surpassed them in just a few days. However, they quickly found their mental balance. After all, you remained the one at the bottom of the class. They grimaced, looking at those who were merely Wang Yu's minions. It seemed they paid no attention to your account's activity, and your gaming had nothing to do with them. Teacher Tay was indeed powerful, reminding them to manage themselves, causing a student to panic and quickly retract 2 messages, making you smile. "You're amazing, teacher." Suddenly, a message drew your attention. It was about the severe incursion. Truly, this was just what you needed. Previously, you had overheard the teacher and Duan discussing the secret realm incursion, not realizing it was so grave. You had just enjoyed a few peaceful days. You hoped they would be wise, or else you wouldn't hesitate to help them pack up. You felt a slight regret for letting that guy slip away last time. Otherwise, he should have contributed something. At that moment, the Demon King suddenly sneezed, feeling an inexplicable sense of dread. Far away at the trading floor, Yang Xin had arrived to work despite his injuries. This immediately attracted mockery from the money-hungry girl. Yang Xin maintained his composure, stating he was fine. The money-hungry girl clearly didn't believe him, thinking he was just a fox trying to cling to high branches. Yang Xin declared that he was not the type of person to act like that. What a pity that your lofty aspirations are overshadowed by a petty thief who dared to steal from a 4th-tier powerhouse. Truly reckless. You're talking nonsense. Mr. Ning is not like that. Haha, still trying to justify yourself. Lord Wang had sent someone to investigate this young man, but at just 18, awakening as a useless being, he had no parents and thus could never possess advanced equipment. Now a 4th-tier powerhouse had come seeking him. If he wasn't a thief, then what was he? Just then, something zipped by so swiftly that it nearly made the money-hungry girl faint with fright. "Excuse me, your mouth is truly outrageous. I almost lost my temper." The money-hungry girl turned around, and to her shock, she recognized it was Ning Feng, sending her into a panic. "Ning Feng, how dare you use magic to attack in our trading platform?" The guard Yang Xin anxiously advised him to flee before the security arrived. "Don't worry, Yang Xin knows that the forces on this trading platform are not to be trifled with. Ordinary folks cannot afford to offend them. If they catch you, it will be a serious problem." Soon after, Lord Wang arrived with 2 guards. "Ning Feng, who gave you the audacity to cause trouble in our esteemed trading platform, you shouldn't coddle him." Lord Wang, hearing that they had sent someone to investigate, accused him of theft. "You are quite assertive, but do you really think you can question me? You're not even in a position to do that." With that, the 2 guards lunged at him. He immediately drew his Supreme Dark card. "So this is how you treat your esteemed customers on your trading platform." The guards froze at the sight of the golden card, their stance faltering. Lord Wang and his men were utterly shocked, stammering their words. "This is the Supreme Card." The money-hungry girl couldn't accept this reality. "How can this be? It must be a fake." He looked at their expressions, thoroughly satisfied. It seemed that the gift the mayor had given still carried some weight. "Where did you get that card?" Faced with Lord Wang's question, he completely ignored it. "Aren't you so impressive? Why not investigate it yourself?" The money-hungry girl, now in a fluster, asked Lord Wang what to do. Realizing the situation was serious, Lord Wang instructed her to hold tight and called for help. Meanwhile, the people in the trading platform sensed something was off. The guards were blocking their path. At that moment, Lord Wang received a call from the mayor. He kept scolding. The headquarters reported that you are investigating the membership card I gave you. What on earth is going on? Lord Wang quickly denied. It's nothing at all. It's just a minor misunderstanding. He knew full well that the mayor's father was one of the founders of the trading platform. So how did that kid manage to win the mayor's favor for him? Just a small misunderstanding, Mr. Lin. I had to exert a lot of effort to gain this. You're not making anyone angry, are you? Haha, don't worry. I've got this under control. Mayor Kai knows something unpleasant is about to happen. You've really managed to provoke someone. Who gave you the guts to do that? He is so furious that he keeps muttering the words, damn it. He said he would head over immediately. Teacher Wang was completely bewildered, unable to comprehend the connection between Mayor Kai and his friend and why he was so enraged. At that moment, he came up with his own idea to call Duan. He mentioned that the equipment had been found. If they could confront him, even Mayor Kai would have to show some respect. One must admit he was quite clever. However, the unfolding events were a bit beyond his imagination. In the waiting area of the trading hall, his friend was already starting the game. Yangshin sat quietly beside him, waiting for his appearance. It wasn't long before Mayor Kai and Duan rushed in, breathless, and called out, Boss Lin, Boss Lin. Lin was slightly taken aback. He hadn't expected these two to show up together. Yangshin was also surprised. The other person was Mayor Kai. Don't forget about that old geezer from the last deal. Looking at their faces, it seemed they were very familiar with his friend. It's not just that they held him in high regard. The two men gazed at the money-loving lady as if they were ready to swallow her whole. The money-loving lady, once again, soiled her pants, utterly confused about what was happening. They looked as if they were about to devour him whole. Yangshin glanced over at Teacher Wang beside him, which only deepened the gloom of the man's mood. At this point, there was no longer a Teacher Wang, but merely a weary, haggard individual. What's wrong, Teacher Wang? It's all over, we're done for. His demeanor was a clear reflection of Mayor Kai's reaction. Boss, do you really not need them to apologize? No need. I feel that these two can't just apologize and make things right. Mayor Kai knew what had to be done. You two, pack your things and get out immediately. The words of Mayor Kai struck them like a bolt from the blue. Teacher Wang could no longer pretend. He threw a punch straight at the money-loving lady. It's all your fault, you wretched girl. You've ruined everything for me. Mayor Kai found these two troublesome and quickly ordered the guards to drag them out. In the ultra VIP room, the absence of the two appetites left him feeling much better. Mayor Kai, true to his seasoned experience, immediately sensed that he was treating Yangshin very well. He felt fortunate to have Yangshin around. At least he didn't tarnish the reputation of the trading hall. Yangshin felt quite envious of his friend. You're still young, yet you can converse with such high-profile figures. This time, Yangshin, you've definitely drawn the short straw. Just work hard, and the trading hall won't treat you unfairly. Honestly, Mayor Kai knows how to handle relationships. Yangshin was a bit surprised. Yes, I'll do my best. You're not foolish. I'm really sorry that my issues brought Mayor Kai here personally. It's nothing, your matters are my matters. If those two hadn't acted last time, Bak Longtheng would surely not have you anymore. Perhaps there's something intriguing here. In fact, I came to find something. Have you guys ever heard of the Weekend Legacy? Mayor Kai looked perplexed. What legacy? Duan seemed just as lost. You seemed a bit shy, but I saw it online yesterday. It was just curiosity. Actually, while you were studying skill books, I noticed a skill named Zero. It means that a wizard can temporarily replenish their magic power during battle. I wonder what it will transform into in the mirror. Then a pure energy surged into your mind, and the skill transformed into a dark river, absorbing the lingering dark energy from the Weekend Legacy, turning it into a part of yourself. Like many others beyond the screen, you too were unaware of this. You genuinely didn't recognize this character. It's true that this character is read as Reed, but where would you find it? The system didn't provide any hints. Where on earth can I find this? Anyway, there's no rush. A nap could wait. After Mayor Kai finished with your matters, he prepared to return to meet Dr. Long. He even mentioned that next time, he must make Dr. Long feel dreamy. I watched his figure soar away on a scroll, and at that moment, I began to feel hungry. I invited Duan to eat with me, but he insisted on going home instead. He quickly led you to his villa. You stepped inside, feeling a wave of astonishment. Wow, living in this city is indeed a privilege. Duan mentioned that this is a perk for those strong enough to stay in the city of Tindu. If you like it, feel free to move in permanently. He could always look for another place. Li Wenyan laughed heartily. That's unnecessary. When you earn some money, just buy a place next to him. By then, you can be neighbors. If you need cash, I've got some. You immediately declined. There is no way the big brother would use the little brother's money. Recently, you had made a decent sum from selling gear, enough to buy a villa, but that would leave you with little savings. If something comes up in the future, it could be troublesome. Anyway, you weren't in a hurry to move. There was no need to rush. Duan mentioned that the villa had a private chef, and he had called they would arrive shortly. You realized the life of the wealthy truly wasn't bad. Just then, Duan's phone rang. It was Mayor Zhang calling. Hello, Mr. Du. I have a matter that may trouble you. The investigative team dispatched is looking into the disaster in the chamber. They have some questions for you. Both you and Duan were taken aback. Duan thought that the investigation might affect the boss, so he felt it necessary to consult you first. Sorry, I'm not free today. No problem whenever you have time in the next few days. Just reach out to me. Investigative team, huh? I wonder who they are. At that moment, a member of the investigative team, visibly displeased, said, This city of Hanvun is truly a bizarre place. Is there something mystical here? In the meeting room, one newcomer bluntly asked, Has anyone here ever seen the so-called mysterious elder? Sulan coldly replied, No. Without the stars outside, rumors swirl that the mysterious elder has saved the city of Ling Yud, especially how the invasion of the secret realm came to a sudden halt. The variations that participated in the incursion were all annihilated. What a farce. The difficulty of entering the secret realm varies greatly. Until we investigate thoroughly, we can't provide any evidence. The man frowned. Conversely, during the two incidents in the secret realm, both at the Wangji level or higher, what have the so-called big shots done? Sulan could no longer hold back. Truly, the arrogance of those who bully others is insufferable. Professor Qi was very clear that to protect you, Sulan used her authority to alter all information related to you. Thus, the entire incident was placed squarely on his shoulders. At that moment, the mayor burst in. I just called Mr. Du. He said he is unavailable today. The man felt a wave of dread wash over him. He despised those powerful beings who escaped his control. Just a ghost without a guild pretending to be very busy. Well then, I'll handle this investigation myself. You all go attend to other matters. He swiftly made his way to the treacherous graveyard's secret realm. The man smiled as he greeted the two officials, who quickly recognized him as a member of the investigation team. I want to enter to conduct some investigations. No problem, please come in. The man quickly entered the secret realm. Although he had been here before, the level of destruction was so profound that he couldn't help but marvel. What kind of power could devastate an intact secret realm to this extent? Even the remaining dark power was still pure and formidable. In his mind, no matter how mysterious the elder might be, in the face of such existence, it would merely be an ant. Then he began to laugh heartily. Truly, this is a place worth anticipating. Oh dear, he has begun to absorb the dark power. Immediately, a sinister skull appeared. The man laughed uproariously. Indeed, the threat of Wangji surrounding him contained immense power. All of it is mine. Meanwhile, in Duan's villa, you continue playing the game. Suddenly, a notification from the system echoed birth. The weekend legacy has appeared. You sense a presence connecting with you. Upon closer inspection, you realize you can easily locate its position. After getting dressed, you prepare to head out. Duan looks puzzled. It's late. Where are you going, Ruth? You toss your phone to him, asking him to finish this round without messing it up. He stares at you in confusion. After hailing a taxi using the coordinates you sensed, you feel certain he's near the treacherous graveyard. Soon, you spot something strange, a figure moving. At the entrance of the graveyard, two guards sounded the alarm. Indeed, an unidentified monster has appeared. The two guards trembled in fear. What on earth is that? Only to see a human head atop a skull. Oh, dear. It turns out to be a member of the investigation team. It seems he has been reflected back and is unable to move. Someone, come save me. At this moment, the treacherous path to the graveyard was blocked. The attendant warned them that danger lay ahead and passage was forbidden. The taxi driver shook his head, unable to go through. You didn't press him further instead. You handed over the money and stepped out of the car. You noticed that the ominous presence had come to a halt, if only for a moment. Meanwhile, the man was still calling for help. When they arrived, they were greeted with a bizarre scene. Everyone was stunned into silence. What on earth is happening? As he left, Sulan was cradled in Professor Chi's arms, receiving treatment. It was clear she had experienced a catastrophic defeat. Thanks to Professor Chi's timely intervention, Sulan had regained consciousness. This was made possible by the orange gear you had gifted her, which shortened the casting time and allowed Professor Chi to heal her swiftly. Yet the current situation was perilous. Even Sulan, a powerhouse, was down on one knee. She rose immediately and asked where the monster had gone. Professor Chi replied, "It has left. Mayor Zhang has requested Duan's assistance. It's uncertain if they'll make it in time." Sulan let out a heavy sigh. Duan's arrival is futile. Their strength is not significantly different, but the true hope lies with the one pulling the strings. The monster had swiftly entered the urban area, its laughter echoing eerily. The man from the investigation team had long lost consciousness. One had to admit, he had been rather fortunate. He had even voluntarily approached you. However, you felt his head was far too large. Was this truly the weekend legacy match? You wondered if you should unleash a potent curse upon him. Little did you expect that he would be hot-headed, leaping into the air to attack you directly. You stood still, watching as his strike neared you. An energy interaction shimmered around you, causing him to break into a cold sweat. How is this possible, so powerful? At that instant, everything changed. The system inquired if you could absorb the toxins mid-process. You had waited long for this moment without hesitation. You pressed the absorb button. Instantly, a surge of energy flooded into your body. The creature let out a heart-wrenching wail of defiance. Then, fragments of its memories crashed into your mind like relentless waves. It seemed to showcase moments of its past battles. Once, it had been a lord commanding countless monstrous armies. Upon completing the absorption, all your attributes surged by 100. Joy flooded your heart, for this was a third-tier profession. Rising from nothing to level 3 was no small feat. Few were ever so fortunate. However, beyond just the attributes, you sensed something else had been absorbed, perhaps the memories of a dark overlord. At that very moment, Duan rushed over. "Big brother, what just happened here?" Your finger pointed at the creature you had just slain. The man from the investigation team lay motionless like a dead dog. Duan had received a distress call from the mayor and rushed over. Could this creature be the one he mentioned? "Big brother, I understand you taking down the monster. There's no sign of powerful magic around. How did you manage this?" You had arrived just in time. The cleanup duty would fall on you. After saying this, Duan patted your shoulder, and you knew you had to clarify the situation. After you spoke, you vanished. Duan felt that your speed was astonishing, yet he couldn't comprehend it. Were you not a mage? This speed surpassed that of many agile professions. Truly, the big brother lived up to his reputation. It turns out I had been thinking too simply before. At this moment, in the city prison of Tundu, the man had confessed that the monster was indeed him. It was revealed that he had stumbled upon an object within a secret realm that granted him control over dark power, which he then transformed into his own strength. Ultimately, he overestimated himself and faced dire consequences. Therefore, he seized the opportunity during the investigation to enter the secret realm and absorb dark power, only to end up ruining everything. Mayor Trung was overjoyed with this mysterious elder protecting Tundu. They could finally feel at ease. Sulan also agreed with this sentiment. Taiki, with a determined gaze, asked, "Mr. Du, have you met this mysterious elder?" Duan nodded in affirmation. Upon hearing this, Sulan and Taiki were taken aback. It turned out that the mysterious elder truly existed. Mayor Trung, hearing that Duan had met the elder, immediately knelt down and begged Duan for an introduction. In his eyes, if the mysterious elder was willing to stay in Tundu, they would do everything possible to meet any request he had. However, Duan shook his head. This elder is of a humble disposition and seldom makes appearances. You should let go of that thought. He couldn't help but admire how you had already prepared a strategy to push everything onto the non-existent mysterious elder. After all, they had no evidence to investigate. The mayor of Tun felt a deep sense of regret. Countless individuals yearned to risk their lives to curry favor with someone like the mysterious elder. Yet Duan did not express this too explicitly. Leaving behind only one crucial piece of information, the elder had a relative in Tundu, which was why he took a special interest in this place. You need not worry. Yet, he also wished to remain undisturbed. Sulan's mind raced as the elder of Thankay was no stranger to the truth. It turned out he had already deduced the reality behind it all. Thaiki silently pondered whether this mysterious elder was indeed a senior of the opposing faction. At that moment, you found yourself in the bath. The weekend's legacy was none other than the remnants of the Demon King within the now-dead secret realm. The images flooding your mind were fragments of the Demon King's memories from his living days. However, you had no intention of becoming a Demon King, so what use were these memories to you? Suddenly, a thought struck you. It might actually be useful. These secret realms, accumulating dark power, would manifest an enhancement in phases. Once the invasion of time could not be resisted any longer, the apocalypse would descend upon us. But for now, the path to cultivating awakened ones in this world is far from complete. The number of those who have achieved level 4 transformation is minuscule, and the professions of these awakened beings have yet to reach their optimal forms. Observing this situation, it is disheartening if it continues this way. Humanity will only have a path toward extinction. Even if you possess the ability to protect yourself, you cannot live in solitude. In every misfortune lies a glimmer of hope. Your world isn't the only one under siege. In other timelines, there have been those who successfully repelled the invaders. Now, all you can do is gather more legacies. Spreading such invaluable information will undoubtedly have a significant impact. However, careful consideration is needed on how to disseminate it effectively. After all, this information transcends common understanding. Mishandling it could lead to chaos at this very moment. Wang Yue's call interrupts your thoughts. You chuckle softly. Young Master Wang, is there good news you wish to share? He even invites you out for dinner to celebrate his successful career transition. Without hesitation, you agree after all. When does Miss Wang ever skimp on hospitality? Wang Yue beams with joy, promising to send you the location. As the two of you exit the hall, a group quickly bursts into cheers to congratulate them. This instantly draws envy from the crowd. What a remarkable feat for one so young to have completed their career transition. I've booked a table at the best restaurant in town. Let's go celebrate, you say. Sorry, I have other plans tonight. You all have fun. I'll treat everyone tomorrow. The foolish son of the Zhao family is displeased by this. Wasn't completing the mission hard enough? You need to relax a bit. Can't anything wait, he retorts, clearly agitated. With that, he storms off, leaving a few bewildered friends gazing after him. Zhao Cheng fumed, having just transitioned. He turns his back on everyone. The golden-haired girl hurriedly rushes outside to mediate. Don't say that Yuo isn't like that. He must have something important to attend to. After all, you've all chased after him. He must be exhausted. He's not just completed an rank mission, he's also transitioned into a hidden profession. The gap between him and the rest of us is only widening. Perhaps one day, he will completely detach from this team, she muses, clearly persuaded by her own thoughts. Will Yue really end up like that?